Problem number 36. Find this limit if it exists. I'll explain why it doesn't exist if it doesn't exist. Limit as t goes to 0, e to the 2t minus 1 times cosine of 2 over t. As t goes to 0, e to the 2t, well, that will go to e to the 0 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. This first term will be 0. Cosine of 2 over t, as t goes to 0, 2 over t will be going off to positive infinity. So this is the weird term. This is the weird term. So the first thing to observe is that it certainly is true that the limit as t goes to 0 of cosine of 2 over t does not exist. But as it turns out, this limit is going to exist. How do we see that? So the first thing that we need to do is remember the following fact, that cosine of x is always trapped between -1 and +1. And this holds for all values, all real values of x. And in fact, we can replace x with 2 over t. So cosine of 2 over t is always somewhere in between -1 and +1. And so then if we multiply through by e to the 2t minus 1, cosine of 2 over t, e to the 2t minus 1, this might be positive, it might be negative, depending on whether t is greater than or less than 0. But we can put absolute value bars to make this true. This is certainly going to be true. And what do we do here? You should realize that we're about to get the squeeze theorem. The squeeze theorem observation here is the limit as t goes to 0, absolute value e to the 2t minus 1. As t goes to 0, this whole thing's going to 1 minus 1 is 0. Over here, this is going to be the limit as t goes to 0 of negative absolute value e to the 2t minus 1. As t goes to 0, this is 1 minus 1. Absolute value of 0 is 0. And so this is also going to equal 0. So by the squeeze theorem, we conclude the limit of this is 0 as t goes to 0. The limit of this is 0 as t goes to 0. So the limit of this as t goes to 0 must be 0. So a nice little application here of the squeeze theorem.